Baruchim Habayim. Welcome everyone to a special edition of All Parsha on Parshas Kedoshim, the Chasam Sofer on Parshas Kedoshim. I'm very excited to share with you today an amazing offering of the Chasam Sofer found in Torah's Moshe on Parshas Kedoshim on the pasuk Ve'ahavta l'reacha kamecha. Rashi brings the words of Chazal. Amar Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva said, Zeh klal gadol b'Torah. This is a great principle in the Torah. So Chasam Sofer is bothered. No kidding, it's a great principle in the Torah. What else is a great principle in it? It's a great principle in the telephone book. It's a great principle on a menu in your restaurant. Of course this is in the Torah. Just say, Zeh klal gadol. Goes without saying this is a great principle in the Torah. Then what? Says the Chasam Sofer, and this is so appropriate for the Chasam Sofer. It's Dvarim ru'uyim l'misha amram. Words that are fit for the one who said it. Namely, this really personifies the outlook of the Chasam Sofer. Namely, Rabbi Akiva is going l'shitase. This is consistent with Rabbi Akiva's view in general. Because we could ask, you should love your neighbor like yourself? That's not even true. What if you have one cup of water and you're in a desert and there's only enough water for one person? If somebody drinks it, whoever drinks it will survive. The one who doesn't drink it will die. And you have the cup of water. Should you give it to your friend or should you drink it yourself? Rabbi Akiva says, your life comes first. Chayecha koidem. V'chei achicha imach. Chayecha koidmen. Chayecha koidmen l'chaye chavercha. So the truth is, it's not true v'yahavta l'reacha kamecha. You do not have to love your friend like yourself. You are allowed to love yourself more. Chayecha koidem. That's when it comes to Gashmias, the physical world. In general, you don't have to love your neighbor like yourself. But comes Rabbi Akiva, when it comes to Torah, you need to love your friend more than yourself. For example, says the Chasam Sofer, let's say you could learn yourself and get your own Olam Haba, or you could teach someone else. Then we don't say Chayecha Koidem, says the Chasam Sofer. Then we don't say, I'm going to learn and you figure it out on your own. No. Then we say, V'yahavta l'reacha kamecha, take off time from your own learning to teach your friend. Then we say that you have to love your neighbor like yourself. So V'yahavta l'reacha kamecha is Zeh klal gadol davka, specifically b'Torah. When it comes to teaching Torah, in the physical world, you come first. It's in the b'Torah, it's in the spiritual world that your friend is equal to you. So you say, well then he's not equal to me, he's greater than me. So in a footnote, in parentheses, it adds that it's still not considered putting your neighbor ahead of yourself, because by you teaching him, then you're doing a mitzvah and it's a zechus for yourself, so you're equal. But actually Chasam Sofer writes in a tshuva, Choshen Mishpat, Siman Kuf Samach Daled, Halacha L'maisa, that if you've designated time for you to learn, and someone comes to you to learn or to adjudicate, you are obligated to teach him or to adjudicate, even though you're losing out on your own learning, on your own merit. That's what it means, v'yahavta l'reacha kamecha, that your neighbor has to be treated like yourself. When it comes to b'Torah, says Chasam Sofer, ki bazeh shel chaveroi koidem l'shel atzmai. This is the amazing outlook of the Chasam Sofer, who we know. Chasam Sofer writes he didn't let a day of his life go by without Harbatzas HaTorah, even on Yom Kippur, even on Tisha B'Av. But amazingly, Rav Moshe Feinstein disagrees vehemently with this hashkafa. Even Ha'ezer, Chelek Daled, Siman Chavav, says that Rav Moshe, the words of the Chasam Sofer are tamuim, because there is no question that if in the physical world you come first, certainly in the spiritual world, Chayecha Koidem. The proof is, the Gemara says in Kedoshim Chav Tesam Beis, that if you could learn or your son could learn, the halacha is you take precedence even over your son, certainly someone else. It says Rav Moshe, there's no question. If you've learned one Masechta, and now you have the opportunity to learn a second, or you could teach someone the one that you know, says Rav Moshe, there's no question, your learning comes first. Moreover, says Chasam Sofer, that even though in the physical world, Rabbi Akiva says your life comes first, you're allowed to give it to your friend. Not so in the spiritual world, says the Chasam Sofer. You would not even be allowed to put your friend ahead of yourself. That's what Rav Moshe says. You would not be allowed to put your friend ahead of yourself. Rav Moshe argues on the Chasam Sofer. Chasam Sofer says when it comes to the spiritual world, your friend comes first. Rav Moshe says no, if in the physical world you come first, but, says Rav Moshe, you'd be allowed to put your friend first. You're not even allowed to put your friend first in the spiritual world. So Rav Moshe asks on himself, we know Rav Preda was rewarded for teaching a student 400 times. Wasn't that coming at the expense of his own learning? From here, Rav Moshe develops the idea of giving 10% of your time to another to teach them. But if it's not in that 10%, not only are you not required to, says Rav Moshe writes, you would not even be allowed to. But this is a shir on the Chasam Sofer, and the Chasam Sofer writes in Torah's Moshe, as well as in Shuvas Choshen Mishpat Siman Kuf Samach Daled, that's why Rabbi Kiva emphasizes V'ahavta l'recha kamoicha ze klal gadol b'Torah. When it comes to the physical world, chayecha koidman, you come first. In the world of the spirit, then you have to give up of your own learning and spirituality to help someone else. Wishing everyone a wonderful Shabbos. Haba Aleinu Tova.